Hello and welcome to Community Connection. I'm your host, Tracey Christensen. The state of Utah is full of history, and preserving buildings and artifacts from the past help us to learn from those who've gone before us. I'm joined now by Tom Petersen from the Historic Wendover Airfield Foundation, and he's here to tell us more about the work they do to preserve World War II history. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us about your foundation and what you're doing.
Well, our foundation is the Historic Wendover Airfield Foundation, and we are seeking to preserve and teach about the contributions that the thousands of men and women in the Army Air Corps during World War II made to preserving the freedoms that we enjoy today. And it all took place in a little town that some people don't even know is still there in Wendover. And we're restoring buildings and telling the stories of those people.
And that's a really worthy cause. And like you say, I don't know very much about that. So what are we missing? What do we need to know?
It's the interesting thing, Wendover Airfield trained enough people to fill the entire 8th Air Force in Europe during World War II. At the height of the war, there were more than 20,000 people living in Wendover, which is a far cry from about 1,000 plus today. And it's those stories, the sacrifices that not only the men made as they trained and learned what to do to fight for our country, but a lot of women that came out and helped keep the base running, answer the phones, and do things that were needed to keep a small city like that running. And it's helping tell those stories and allow people really a place where we like to say you can walk where they walked. The buildings that they actually lived in are still there. It's not a recreation. You can have the opportunity to kind of stand in a room and say, you know, maybe my grandpa slept in a barracks just like this, or learned to fly in a building just like this.
Yeah, what a great part of our history and of our country and military's history. Tell us about this model.
This is a model of the largest hangar that's on the airfield. It is, it's affectionately known as the Enola Gay Hanger. It was specifically built for the 509th Composite Group, which is the group that dropped the atomic bombs to end the Second World War. They did all of their training exclusively at Wendover, and because it was a secret group, they got their own special building. And one of our projects that is kind of on the long range end of completion is to restore this building so it can be the centerpiece of our museum. And this is a scale model of that. With the airplane looks big in there, but that's really how big they are. It was a huge endeavor.
So what do you need still to make that restoration happen?
We need volunteers who are willing to come out and spend a day or two at a time just helping with, from anything from pounding nails to sweeping floors. And then also, of course, we're always looking for private donations. The museum is almost exclusively run on private foundation money. We have had a few federal grants to help preserve this history, but it's really kind of a grassroots effort to save this piece of history.
And so if we visit the airfield, we can see this building. Well, not looking as spiffy as this yet.
Not yet, it's getting there.
And what else is there to see?
We do have a small museum that's in the main operations building. We have a bunch of artifacts and photographs, as well as there's a self-guided driving tour that you can take, and you can actually see the old buildings where these people were. And then a couple times a year, we do what we call our all-access tour, and we take people kind of behind the scenes to see buildings that aren't normally open. It's kind of gives you a whole perspective on, wow, it's a big human story. It's not so much the airplanes, and that's where I started. But when you get into it, it's really about, wow, these people put their lives on hold to be a part of something bigger to preserve the freedoms of our country.
That's an excellent reason to go to Wendover. And I know you volunteer with this and obviously are really passionate about it. And we appreciate you coming to share this piece of history with us and help us learn more about the airfield and your foundation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here at 11, we strive to keep our viewers informed of historic places throughout our community. If you'd like to learn more about the Historic Wendover Airfield Foundation, please visit KBYU11.org and click on Community Connection. Thanks for being with us, and please join us next time here on Community Connection.